Colleagues, divorce happens, but however, with divorce happening and people remarrying, that could bring family squabbles. So, in order to manage those family squabbles, it's very, very important to ensure that we do an estate planning, guys, of our affairs. It's very, very important. It's for that so that there's a smooth transition between yourself and your kids and your spouses of wealth. The truth of the matter is that when we pass on, wealth has to move to somebody else. Whether it's your wife, it's your spouse, it's your ex, or it's your kids, you can decide. That's your constitutional right. Now, in this case, this gentleman got married. He had kids, right, from his previous marriage. Two kids, then he later remarried, right. And unfortunately, as we all know, then he passed on. Now, having passed on, his daughter from the previous marriage and the second wife, the surviving spouse, were appointed as co-executors, which means they've got responsibility to administer his deceased estate to ensure that whoever is going to benefit from this estate benefit. So he happened to have died under intestate succession, which means that he did not have a valid will in existence, according to the letter of executorship. Now, they later, obviously, then they had a squabbles, disagreements. You can imagine stepmom, kids. There's always that tension in most cases, not all the time, but in most cases. Now, then what happened is that the surviving spouse went behind the co-executor, who's the daughter, right, from the previous marriage. Now, she went to court, she got this other document, and then she convinced the court that that particular letter of wishes was supposed to be a will, because he had sent that document to a company that, like our companies, that works with doing fiduciary services, which means trust companies, wills, and things like that. Now, the court granted the wishes, said, okay, that was supposed to be intended will. They condoned that. There's a section under the Wills Act where the court can actually condone a document that disease have left behind under the law that says stipulate that was intended to be a will. So in this case, then the court, but only to find that she did not actually inform the co-executor. So the co-executor found out through the trust company, and then obviously then they applied. They applied to court, and then having applied to court, and then obviously then they put their case. We're not told, and, they argued, the lawyers argued, and all these things. Then obviously then the court renounced that court order, that declaration order that they had given to her. Now we're back to square one. It means obviously there will be tensions and fights and all these things that happens now. Now it only then also found out that there was another will that the disease actually had way back before actually he even passed on, or even before he got married. Can you see that there's just so much of uncertainty, and money is being spent by your heirs, mainly because you did not do a proper estate planning. Please, 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 guys, ensure that to save money for your kids, to save money and stress and hassles and time and all these things. Guys, as long as you own something, please have a will. Do a basic estate planning if you can, and then ensure that you've got a valid will. Ensure that you review your will as and when your circumstances changes. So you don't want to find yourself in this situation where your wealth is being contested, and as a result, your wealth get depleted because they're going to spend money. These people going back and forth in hiring lawyers to represent them in courts and things. Those people don't come cheap. So ensure that you speak to people like us. We do your estate planning. You can speak to a lot of estate planners that are out there and tax advisors to ensure that your affairs are always up to date as and when your circumstances changes, so that you don't end up finding your kids fighting each other at courts. Okay? Good luck.